Yeah. No, a lot of times you find that to be the case. One of the world's largest gold mines is in Indonesia, and it's also, not coincidentally, the world's largest copper mine. So, yeah,
They generally come together. The copper, gold, silver, they're always stuck together.
exactly. Yeah.
And there is also in this field, this is another question. There is a so high of mercury.
Oh, now you've got a problem.
Why?
Because mercury is a huge contaminating agent. And if it's contained right now in your semi-processed material, when you go to process that material and break it apart, you're going to have a lot of mercury discharge. It's highly poisonous and it is very mobile. So it gets very easily into water sources and then it can travel a long way.
Why they don't really mine mercury as well? Because mercury is not that cheap. Also, like you can also generate money.
You can't really mine mercury because it's such a hazardous material. And a lot of countries actually won't allow new gold mines to use mercury to process the gold because it's such a heavy contaminant and it's so hard to contain and to protect against. So mercury is completely undesirable. What I can tell you is a couple of things. That I'm very interested also in Egypt, in that whole history of the pyramids and everything. And recently, the archaeologists have made a discovery that's very interesting about mercury that makes it appear as if the Egyptians had found a way to use mercury in channels as an energy source.
Yes, you can.
So,
technically can.
That's interesting. But look at how it was being used, right? It was being contained in these stone pipes. And it was very hard granite, which means it's not easily permeable. So they were using mercury in some very particular way that we're no longer familiar with around here.
Because of technology.
Right. So it wouldn't be the same as if, for instance, you just had a copper wire and you supercharged it. You're getting the same end result, but we don't understand how. So it's something that's been lost in time.
That's what I'm also like very curious.
Coming back to your other point about the fish that have ingested the mercury and haven't died from it, you don't necessarily die immediately. This is the problem. So there was years ago, like a long time, like in the 60s or something, there was a problem with tuna and mercury poisoning because these tuna had been exposed someplace or the other to a lot of mercury, which they had ingested. Then the fishermen caught them and processed them into canned tuna, and people were getting sick all over the place because of the mercury that was in the tuna. So it doesn't necessarily kill the original creature. It depends on that creature's metabolism. But then if it gets back to humans, that's when it becomes lethal. We can't ingest mercury and live.
People wanted to inject people in mercury safely, they can design a technology for it to as well. It's just about like...
I have to disagree with you there because there are some things, it's just like when they're treating cancer, right? They actually use small doses of thorium to try to kill the cells that are infected.
Thorium?
Thorium.
Thorium, that the main thorium source is in Turkey?
I do.